What's going on, everybody? So today I want to talk to you about running. Running is one of the best exercises you can do to lose body fat and to build up your cardiovascular system, build up your endurance. Running is one of the best exercises you can do, period. But a lot of people aren't in shape to run. So when some people hear that running is the best exercise for you, they go out, they start running, and then what happens? A lot of times they get hurt because their body isn't able to run. They don't know how to run. They haven't ran in so long that they have to teach themselves how to run properly. So today I'm gonna show you a few drills to help your body learn how to run properly so that you're not gonna be hurting your knees, hips, ankles, your back when you're finished running, so that you'll be able to get the most out of the best exercise there is. Let's get into it. One of the major problems that people have when running is pain in the hamstrings. And a lot of times that's because they're overusing their hamstrings. Your hip flexors, your glutes, and your calves, and sometimes your quads are what actually propel you forward. Your hamstrings are just stabilizers while you're on one foot. So today we're gonna focus on some muscle memory patterns that'll help us work on our hip flexors rather than our hamstrings. Okay, so we'll start out with high knees. If you haven't watched this video, check it out. It's a video showing you how to warm up before every single run, and a couple of these exercises will be in there. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and get into the high knees. The high knees, we're picking our legs up, we're not bouncing them off the ground. So the way that we're able to tell if you're picking them up is if our toe is pointed up. If our toe is pointed down, that means we probably bounced off the ground. So we're gonna stay tall, chest out, shoulders back, chin down, head up, and we're gonna just glide on top of the ground. We're not gonna spend a lot of time on the ground. We're just gonna pull our feet up, not bounce them up, pull them up with our hip flexors and with our core. You're gonna wanna do 6 sets of that. Take your time in between reps. It's not to get your heart rate going. It's not to get you tired. I want you to focus on the form and make sure that you're fresh before every rep. Focus on your form and really be very intentional about pulling the legs up rather than bouncing them. The next area that I would say is most common when people are trying to get back into running, if they haven't done it in a long time, is pain in the knees, pain in the ankles, and sometimes even pain in the hips. One of the major causes for that is what's known as heel striking. So heel striking is just like what it sounds. When you're taking each stride and each step, the first thing that's hitting the ground is your heel, and then the bottom of your foot, and then you're pushing off to go again. So there's 2 problems with that. One, heel striking slows you down. You're not as efficient, you're not going as fast. And then number 2, all that weight and that velocity is coming down on that foot, then on that knee, then on that hip, sometimes even on the back, and then you're pushing yourself up again. And you're doing that for however many steps you're taking. So if you're running for a mile, I don't know how many steps that is, but that's a lot of steps of that same repetition on your knees, ankles, hips, and even your back. We're gonna do pogo hops, and the focus and emphasis on being on the balls of your feet, and right when you hit the ground, you wanna come right back up. We're gonna do 3 sets of that for about 5 to 10 yards. If it's your first time doing it, I would say stick to 5 yards. If you've done it before, 10 yards is fine. So now we're gonna do A-runs with the pause. If you've seen this video from before, you'll know that A-runs are a drill that you wanna do even once you know how to run. You wanna keep working that drill so that you remain running efficiently. But right here, we're focusing on strengthening those muscles in our calves, in our feet, even in our quads, glutes, hip flexors, so that we're able to be on the balls of our feet when we run. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna do our A-runs, but we're gonna pause with each step. We're gonna hold it for about 2 seconds, then we're gonna go again to the next step. So while we're doing these A-runs with the hold, we're gonna hold it for about 1 second, maybe 1.5 seconds before we go to the next step. We're gonna try to stay tall the whole time, and I would say do these for about 5 yards and do 3 sets of them. Take as much time as you need in between each set. Now we're gonna move into A-runs. Similar exercise, except there's no pause. We're just gonna focus on landing on the balls of our feet, cycling our feet through, staying tall, and pumping our arms. It is hot out here, guys. Make sure that when you're going outside, you're exercising. Make sure that when you're working out, you always bring some water with you, stay hydrated. It'll prevent you from catching cramps, getting dehydrated, of course, and pulling muscles. And it feels really good when it's a hot day outside. Another area that a lot of people have issues with when they're running, especially when they're sprinting, is they're letting their feet hang out behind them way too long. So we're gonna go ahead and get a couple sprints, 30 yards, but the emphasis is gonna be on pulling our legs back up right after we strike the ground. We're not gonna let our feet hang behind us. So what I want you to think about during this drill is imagine someone's behind you and they're trying to look at the bottom of your feet. Don't show them the bottom of your feet. So what that means is your legs should not come back like this, where they can see the bottom of your feet. You should be running front side, meaning your legs are coming up, and once you're striking the ground, they come right back up again. We're gonna have extra emphasis on pushing off and coming right back up. Don't let the person behind you see the bottom of your feet. This isn't how I want you to run all the time, but most people, if you have that bad habit of letting your legs lag behind you, where you feel like you're constantly pushing like this when you run, you need to do this drill. We're gonna go ahead and start about 30 yards. We're gonna run these through. The emphasis should be on your knees coming forward, the ball of your feet striking right underneath you, and then bringing your feet right back. It's gonna feel funny. It's gonna feel unnatural, but this isn't the way you're gonna run. This is just a drill to overemphasize using your hip flexors, making your mind and your brain and your muscle memory start to operate out of moving the front of your body to go forward instead of overemphasizing the back. So all we're doing is we're trying to even out the muscle memory. So we're gonna get 6 sets of these, and we're gonna go for 30 yards, 70 to 80% speed. Maybe on your last set, crank it up to 90%. Another area that holds people back from being truly efficient during their running is their arms. A lot of people either lock up their arms and go side to side. Some people, their arms come up instead of coming back. All I want you to focus on is this. Keep your elbows in and act like you're trying to elbow somebody behind you. Once your elbow swings back, you can straighten your arm back and then let the momentum from the other arm driving back bring your arm up. Don't focus on driving your arm up. Focus on driving your arm back. And that will naturally bring the other arm up. You don't want to be tense. You want your shoulders to be nice and relaxed. You want your face, your jaw to be relaxed while you're running, just right here. So a drill that we're gonna do, it's gonna feel a little weird. We're gonna do stationary arms. So all we're gonna do is we're gonna be here for 5 seconds. And then we're gonna speed it up a little more, 5 seconds, and then full speed for 5 seconds. And then we're gonna go back to slow, speed it up a little more, then full speed. Throughout that whole process, you wanna try to keep your face as calm as possible. You may make a couple faces, that's okay. But I want you to focus on being more relaxed rather than really tense. Go 3 sets of that for 30 seconds total. So, if you're going slow, medium, fast, each one is 5 seconds, that's 15 seconds total. Go 30 seconds total. So go through that twice for 3 sets. Take as much time as you need in between the sets, and then use that to help get your arms right. We focused on the arms, balls of our feet, and a little bit of correcting our form. So now all we're gonna do is we're gonna run some sprints, and we're gonna try to keep as much form as we can while we're running. So remember, we're trying to land on the ball of our feet, not on our heel, not on our toe, but on the ball of our feet right underneath us, just like we did in the A run. We shouldn't have a lot of lag behind us because we talked about bringing our feet in front of us bringing our knees and our legs in front of us, and right after we hit the ground, try to bring it up as fast as we can. Our arms shouldn't be here, shouldn't be here. They should be elbows in and driving our fist and our hands back once we pass our hip. And then let the momentum from the other arm bring that arm forward. We're gonna stay relaxed in our jaw, we're gonna stay tall, and then we can get as far or as short of reps as we want. So there you go. Feel free to mix and match whatever distance you want to do for sprints. Just make sure to work this before you do any sort of speed work. And if you follow my program, I've got the distance that you need to run. And if you're not on my program but you want to be, send me a DM, send me an email, and I'll help you get in the best shape of your life physically so that you can be the best version of you that you can be.